he's not mentally tough. And for him to say, you know what, that 2011 season was the culmination of that, everything came to a head, that I wasn't playing to like I know I can play, and the pressure, and it formed the perfect storm. And I needed to go talk. I needed to go, whether he vented or however he got his situation resolved, is that athletes don't skip. We don't like to admit that we have frailties. That's it in a nutshell. And me not being mentally tough? What? You don't know where I came from. You don't know, I mean, you talk about a guy that came from a single parent and that really had no dominant male figure in his home that we can say as coaches, and to get to where he got to, and basically he's learning to be a man, how to be a man as he's going through the process of himself. Not having someone that says, okay, LeBron, dad or grandpa say, hey, LeBron, this is how you do it, and go here. He's having to do it on his own. Michael Jordan had his dad, and then he had Coach Smith. So he had a parent, and then he had a coach that he had the utmost respect for. Well, LeBron James, like, I'm doing kind of going this thing on my own. But kudos to him, Skip. It takes a big man. It takes a big person to admit that I'm not in a place where I need to be able to function at my highest. Because I'm not sure I would have told that. Some things I just go and take to my grave, whatever you say.
So he said he'd lost his love, and this is after what I always said was the worst superstar meltdown I've ever seen on a big stage, because it was games 4, 5, and 6 of the finals in 2011.
And Skip, we're talking about a guy that's already had won two regular season MVPs. So we're talking about a guy that's already at the heat, at the top.
Yep. He had some issues at the end of his Cleveland run against, obviously, Orlando, and then against Boston the last go-around. And remember, Dan Gilbert was hard on him and even accused him publicly of quitting in that series. And there was the report that he needed to be sedated for the last couple of games of the Boston series because of a locker room issue that he was going through on a personal level. So I'm happy he talked about it, and I do think he came right out of that in 2012 against the still young Thunder, but LeBron was great in that finals, especially when they went home. He was great, and they just shut them down and and shut it out in, what was it, 5 games?
Yeah, it was 4-1.
5 games, and LeBron was the MVP, but he continued to struggle. It wasn't like he was completely fixed of that, because he did. I thought you said he played really well in the fourth quarter of that Game 6 in 2013, but he had 3 unforced error turnovers down the last 3 minutes of Game 6 that Ray Allen saved him, missed the last shot. LeBron did, and then Ray made it. And remember, in 2014, I still say they went home in the finals against my Spurs 1-1. They went back to Miami, and LeBron had 2 home games. And go check the tape of this. He wasn't himself. He wasn't great in those 2 games, and they lost both at home. Then they went back to San Antonio, and they ended up losing in 5 games by a record finals margin. Yeah,
and nobody had ever shot like what San Antonio, because I was just certain. I said, there's no way they can continue to shoot like this. And they continue to shoot like that. I mean, Patty Mills couldn't miss. Or Danny Green couldn't miss. Even Kawhi was making, nobody can miss from the 3. I was like, there's no way they can keep this going. But Skip, if you remember, when they were down 3-2, going back to the Garden, and they showed the picture, he had his hands on his knees, and he's looking side to side. I said, somebody in heap of trouble. Jenny, there's a calm. There's a hush over the stadium. There's a calm. You just know what's about to happen that we've never seen before.
That was with Dwayne. Yep.
45. And then he went back and finished it off in Game 7. And I know we rolling. We good now.
You're good. So then the other most embarrassing moment to me in LeBron's career that he did not fix was 2018 Finals Game 1 at Oracle.
Man, get out of here.
You can't do that.
Yes, you can.
You got to take the shot. You got Steph on you.
No.
And you're down 1. You just got to take the shot. You can't kick it to George Hill and hope he's going to make 2 free throws. You just can't do it.
Well, he actually, Clay did a great thing because he kicked it to George Hill, and George Hill was about to lay the ball up. And Clay snatched him out, which I got no problem with. And like you say, you forced him to go make the. I was like,
Then LeBron went and sat by himself. And
hold on, what we gonna talk about? What we gonna do about Swish? Swish was on on them real cookies.
LeBron is doing something right now, and refreshing to hear him talk about it. I think that's the number one thing. It is refreshing. Whether you're an athlete or not, it's important.
Sure lives. I mean,
We don't
dealing with him.
over there. We're going to talk about Baker Mayfield. Is he showing signs of maturity? You meditate. We'll be right back.
Download the app right now.
LeBron not only leads the league in assists per game by over 1.5, but he also leads the league by a wide margin in real plus minus, with James Harden being a distant second. Real plus minus takes into account teammates, opponents, and additional factors, as well as the net point differential while the player is on the court. So, Shannon, what does this tell you?
Tell me he the MVP. That's what it tells me. What it tell you, Skip?
I thought yesterday Anthony Davis was MVP. No? Oh, that changes.
Interesting. Good point.
Now, I'm looking at the real plus minus. It says real plus minus. LeBron James is 10.18. James Harden is second at 7.13. The gap between 1 and 2 is the same gap as between 2 and 11. Good God.
Who are you talking to over there?
I don't know.
Who's over there? I don't know who's over there.
You ain't tell me this, Skip.
I got to find out.
Hold on, Skip. Don't worry about it.
Is there
Hold
a
on.
little man over
Yeah,
there?
he over there. Skip, now, hold on. Listen to this, the real careful, Skip. LeBron James is up by 3 points on second place. The last time a player won by even 1 point was 2014, the king himself, GOAT James. Huh? Skip. LeBron is number 1 in offensive real plus minus. He's 10th in defense. Now, Skip Bailey told me he can't play. He's gone. He done. You saw that. Hazonia blocked the shot. He was up here key. He had him running on the loop. You tried to embarrass me, shame me on national television.
Don't dare me to play that Mo Bamba tape from last night.
We saw it.
Look,
It looked a little washed.
I don't think anybody should be surprised, because we've never seen a guy in this kind of condition. No guy that played 17 years. If we go back and just look at the guy that's played 17 years, we look at a guy like, let's say, Karl Malone. Karl Malone didn't train, and maybe he didn't know what LeBron knew, because obviously, Skip, time and you know, you look back and like, wow, I thought I was eating well until I see the way athletes eat now and see the way they train now.
Fair.
I was like, whew, man, I was archaic in my training. You look at Kobe. When Kobe got to year 17, Skip, the injuries had started to set in. You know, he had the torn labrum, you know, and he had the Achilles injury. So those guys, all of a sudden, instead of training, they were rehabbing. LeBron James, for the very first time in 8, 9 years, he got an opportunity. He was not going to be playing basketball in May. He was not going to be playing basketball in June. So he got a 2-month head start on recovering his body, and he got an opportunity to train and to refresh and heal his mind, heal that body. And so what we're seeing, don't let that fool you. Now, this is what we're talking about, Skip Bayless. Year 17.
Yep.
And he's doing this. I got 3 letters for you. MVP.
Really? So
Look at about that. He missed that shot right there. I was
this is
mad.
the first year they're going to have to give 2 MVPs? They'll give them both an MVP? I don't know.
No, it's Skip. It's Skip.
Whatever.
All I know is my guy is 26,
Okay.
11, and 7. In year 17.
Very impressive. So I'm going to give you this. He has an extraordinary lead in this new stat of ESPN's real plus minus. It's extraordinary, the gap between 1 and 2, and then to your point, to 2 to 3.
Fair.
But what has changed in year 17 that we've never seen LeBron do before? What is he doing this year that is different from all the previous seasons?